Welcome to Originumasl. My name is Laura and I create this place to discuss about roots, identity and ancient knowledge. I hope you will enjoy it. Welcome to Originum. My name is Laura and I really want to create the place that we can talk about like transmission, ancient knowledge, the lives today and make some comparison. And today, the people, for me, we have like everything, but except the knowledge. And today, I have my first guest, and this is Rhea, and I will let her introduce herself. Hello, welcome.
Hi Laura, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
It's no
Such
problem.
a beautiful place. I have been studying herbalism and holistic health for the past 7 years. I am very passionate about the body and the wisdom's nature, ways of guiding us through this life. I think it's so important for all of us to go back to the way we used to connect ourselves with nature before.
Okay, and just for start, like, why did you choose this way to study? Why the biologies? Why the herbalism?
I chose this because I was a very sick child. Growing
Okay.
up, I was surrounded by a lot of pharmaceuticals all the time. And this was actually normal in my family and in my friendships. And when I turned 19, I moved to a different country where I started to meet different communities that were very in tune with nature's ways and people that were discussing a lot about health, herbs, nutrition. And then something tragic happened. My auntie, she died at a very young age of cancer. And that was a wake-up call for me. And I wanted to learn new ways of how I can treat my body better because I was so tired of always feeling sick.
Okay.
And I was so young. Yeah.
Okay, and it's for that my second question is like, why did we stop to looking at the ground for our medicine?
We stopped to look at the ground for our medicine, I think, over the course of decades, over the last decades, if I can put it in these words, because of industrialization, the new culture that has arrived, the society that's at a fast pace, everything has to move faster. People are not trying to wait for the plant, for example, to grow and to learn from it. So we're driving our fast cars and we're eating our fast foods and we're always in a rush to get things accomplished. And I think this also plays a huge factor into us not being so connected like our ancestors were.
So for you, actually, the knowledge is truly lost, or we are just digitally and physically disconnected?
I don't think the knowledge is lost at all. I think it's hidden beneath distraction, and we just need a little bit of redirection. Because everything is happening so fast and is so much information out there, everyone in different fields is trying to teach you something, it can get so confusing as to who to trust and if that information is actually accurate. However, many cultures are still living with nature. Our ancestors knew how to focus on the body rhythms, on the seasons. They knew the plants and how they grow. And that knowledge is still within us. Our DNA still holds that memory.
Okay, we just forgot.
I don't think we forgot. As I said, I think it's just hidden beneath the surfaces that our social norms are trying to put onto us.
Okay, it's for that. Like, what is the role of the industrialization and the modern medicine play in make us like forget?
First of all, modern medicine absolutely saved life. We have the emergency rooms, the surgery, the antibiotics that completely changed the way we look at the body. But somewhere along the way, prevention became secondary to symptom management. So instead of looking at the root cause of our issues, we wanted to find a quick pill. It's like, for example, someone knocking at the door right now, very, very loud, and we just turn on the music so that we can't hear it. It doesn't mean that that person is not knocking anymore. Same in our bodies with these issues. We cover them with some pills and we're not looking at the roots anymore. And I think this is what industrialization, unfortunately, managed to do.
Okay, and the keeper of the knowledge. Like for me, it's like the really good subject, because not everyone talk about that. But the matriarchy of healing, like keeper of knowledge, I think it's like the interesting subject, like a lot of people forgot about that, because in the matriarchy system, when you see like the old generation, the last generation before us, usually it was the woman, the gators of the knowledge.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, it was our midwives, our mothers, our herbalists, and before, these women used to be praised. They used to be the ones that people were going to for help. Unfortunately, as time went by, we took these women and we started seeing them from a negative point of view. And this is why you have stories about the witches.
That's the point, because the healer of the community become the witch of history.
I think this has to do with fear. Fear appears when a system is feeling threatened by independent thinking. Now, if you take women before, the caretakers and the givers and that were following nature's ways, they were being praised and respected. And because they were the ones managing the system of health, when the new age, the new era of industrialization came through, and noticed that there was a space where they realized they have to put a gap in between and stop the woman from being this independent source of knowledge.
Problem right now for our society to keep this kind of thinking?
I think the problem is that we don't see it as balance. As I just mentioned, modern science saves lives every day. And if we see it as, let's use emergency rooms and surgeries because we need them, but also be able to connect with our bodies when it comes to drinking certain amino acid-based juices and getting the nutrition that we need. Learn about fasting periods, learning about the cycles of the food, the whole foods that we can recreate in our kitchen, connect really and truly with what we think, what we drink, with the plants we're consuming, and etc. And find the balance.
Between the both, that's true, because everything is balanced in this life. And because I know you and we talk too much, and I know that you are like specialist of alkaline. But before I met you, I never heard this kind of diet. I don't know if we can call it diet or something. You can explain me more about what is the alkaline, what it means?
Yes. When it comes to alkaline, I like to call it an alkaline lifestyle.
Okay.
This doesn't have to do with the pH balance of the blood. The body will know exactly how to regulate that on its own. This has to do more with consuming whole foods and making sure the body is electric. An electric body consumes a lot of chlorophyll. This is all those good greens, the apples and the pears and your celery, all the fruits and vegetables that you can think of, for you to have the cellular hydration. This is the H3O2 hydration, and then it goes back to the ancient seeds.
Keep the electrolyte.
Yes, the ancient grains that we can use, and oxygen rich in foods, mineral-based foods. And avoid, of course, everything that's packaged and processed, and it harms us in time.
And do you think that this concept is misunderstood by the mainstream?
I think it's misunderstood because we also have the topics of veganism. And
Yeah,
People
because we talk
associate-
more about vegan than like
Yes,
alkaline.
people associate veganism with alkaline. They hear that you're not eating meat or dairy and they will call you a vegan and start putting certain names on top of that. However, alkaline is not vegan. I think it's misunderstood because it's so hard to explain nowadays to people what an impact whole foods are doing onto the body as compared to the processed ones. Because the industrialization is packaging and branding everything so well. You will take a pack of cereals, for example, and it will tell you it has calcium and fiber and whatnot. But really and truly it doesn't. You cannot take something dead, artificial, and find any sort of nutrition or minerals inside it, as opposed to alkaline, where you cook your own foods, you work with your hands, you see the root of it, where does it start and where does it end. And veganism, unfortunately, it has a lot of ingredients that are also processed and chemically induced products.
And if you can like tell me like a easy sentence just to explain like I have to eat everything from the nature.
In simple terms, alkaline means nature-based products.
Okay.
The grains, the seeds, the fruits, the vegetables. Sometimes you have a vegetable that is not alkaline. Broccoli, for example, or
Okay.
white potatoes. Yes, they grow in nature, but these vegetables have been genetically modified throughout time. So it's not in its original state. It won't necessarily harm you, but it won't give you the nutritional value that you're looking for either.
Okay. And was this knowledge naturally replaced by better things, or was it intentionally erased from education system?
Parts of this knowledge were systematically deprioritized because the industry values scalability and profitability, and therefore they are trying to implement and outsource different products that will slowly harm us, unfortunately.
Okay, I got you. And like for the education, how do our school and healthcare keep like us in the dark?
I don't think they keep us in the dark. I think that unfortunately the people in these industries are uneducated themselves. And this happens when you don't want to go deeper and look at the source. I will say this: you can't patent sunlight. You can't patent breath work. You can't patent growing herbs into your garden. Most people graduate schools and go further into teaching others about the health industry without truly learning and understanding the root cause of it, without looking at wisdom, nature's way, without looking at the body from a circadian point of view, and how the body also moves with the seasons, and how there's certain breaks that we must take, how we're supposed to eat certain foods at a certain time of the year. So I don't think it's necessarily the system or people inside it trying to hide the truth for us, but them not being educated on the matter.
Okay, it's not too dark, it's not too white. It's like on the
Yes.
middle. How we can, the average person, reconnect with this wisdom without being extreme? We have like position when we got new statements. Sometimes you're gonna be like extreme, and it's hard for you to find this balance. Like,
Yeah, I think the future is integration. You take the modern science knowledge and you use what's best from it, and you learn how to listen to your mental intuition and truly connect with how your body feels when you're in tune with nature's ways. When you're drinking your herbal teas, when you're eating your fruits, how present can you really be? Is there something you can plant, or can you actually learn something about 3 herbs, for example? Can you try new programs of detoxing, or choose activities that will improve your heart health and your lungs health, and test yourself. See which boundaries you can set with this. And I think slowly, through this integration process, you can find that balance.
Okay, like everything, because sometimes something will working for you, but not for me, because our body is completely different.
Yes, exactly.
Because me, I really learned about like Chinese medicine, and I like the mindset in Chinese medicine, because it's not about you have to do, and this is not the only one rules for everybody. You have to adapt your body and your lifestyle, your food, because you are unique. And you're feeling that you felt like it's not the similar than the other people or the other person, and you are really to find your own way.
Yes,
that's true.
100% I agree, yes.
Okay.
One herb can have totally different reactions on two different people with the same problem, because there's, like you said, uniqueness in each one of us. And listening to your own body and following that mental intuition I just mentioned about will help you find the best remedies for yourself. However, we should look for help. So you have your herbalists, your naturopaths, your nutritionists. In the community of therapy, we should look for help from these people.
Okay, you need help. You can't do by yourself.
You can do by yourself if you listen to your mental intuition, but sometimes you might not know where to start. You might not know how, why, and if it's the right thing to do. Maybe you're going to get 100 supplements and think that zinc, iron, and magnesium will help you sleep better and level up your energy, when really and truly you might just need a detox, or the other way around.
No, because it's interesting, because right now all the people want to find the knowledge in the book, and they forgot to go to the people, the expert of, like, we can find someone expert on this subject or anything. And right now we have a lot of information. We just connect with your cell phone, you just tap on ChatGPT or anything, and you can find the answer. But we forgot that usually you have to ask to someone, because this is the real transmission of the knowledge.
That's why I think that the way forward from now on is building communities that we can trust. If someone comes to me with a back problem, for example, I can of course offer them a tincture that will help with the pain, but I am not a kinesiologist, so I would send that person in my community to someone that I can trust. If we will be able to build these sort of communities where we're surrounded by nature, wisdom, knowledge, then we can actually help everyone.
How right now we can pass on to the next generation this knowledge, so it's never forgotten again?
I think it will have to be practice. So if we can take our children and show them how plants grow, and show them how they can cook their own little healthy snacks, and take them in nature to explore the rivers and see the animals and the way they move, and most importantly, remind them how powerful they are. You have a kid from the age of 1 to 7, they're geniuses. And then you take that kid and you put the kid into a school surrounded by benches, not allowed to leave the room for 7-8 hours, not allowed to move. The kid will lose from the genius mind, right? They're so locked and they think this is the way. If we would show them the power that lies within them, and the fact that they can be free to have the power of speech, to have the power of intuition, to follow their purpose, could be a great integration for the next generations.
I'm agree with you. Okay, but just before we finish, I just want to say thank you, Rhea. Like, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you to take the time to sit with me and talk with me. And also I want to say thank you for everybody who are listening. It's not, I really want to say, like, it's not for rejecting anything. It's not to teach, like, just I want to give you some tips maybe to reconnect with something more deep and help you to find another way to try to explore, and maybe see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much.